Good afternoon and good morning, everybody.
Hello, hello. And I hope you guys came with your questions because there was only one question that was submitted inside of the school platform. There is something I did want to touch on today, so that'll take a little bit of time, but this is going to be a super short call unless you guys have some questions for us today. So this is your opportunity, guys. We'd love to answer questions specific to the retail challenge, but you've got, a lot of experience here on the call to be able to help you, really with anything. So please do not be shy in asking questions.
Right, I had said before, it could be on any martial arts related topic to your school. Happy to help, as this is our last call. So anything that you're struggling with, anything you have questions on, you can ask. But I hope everybody has a plan. Whether you've done it already, it doesn't matter, but it's something that should be ongoing to build up your retail dollars. I mean, that was the whole point of this, because retail is an overlooked profit center in most schools, because most of us don't necessarily know how to sell retail to where there's value to your customer and where you have a system set up to where it's consistent. So, hopefully we're implementing some of the stuff that we did go over. Chris, what's that question here about Century Equipment? How do we know when they are having sales on anything? Mikey, you want to answer that?
Well, I guess I want everyone to know that we have sales on things for various reasons. There's all kinds of, sometimes we have to push things, sometimes we have opportunities, sometimes we are supporting things like this, and sometimes they're on a whim because we feel like there's a need for that anytime place for the industry. I can tell you guys that the Maya Elite members and the Maya teams, they kind of get priority on some of those things. If there is an appetite to know, I guess, a little bit further ahead of time, then we can work together to help increase the, I guess, communication on that beforehand. A little bit the problem is if we, this happens around the holidays. Sometimes if people know there's a great opportunity coming up for a deal, I don't blame you, but then there'll be no sales for like 2 months because people will quite literally save up just to do that. And as you can imagine, as a company, that kind of sometimes sets us up for failure. So we try to be really transparent about the sales, and things like the Facebook groups and through Maya is kind of the way we kind of do these VIP notifications of sales when we have the opportunity to. I don't know, I guess that's the best answer that I can give for you guys.
By the way, I will say this too. Every one of you, if you haven't done it yet, we'll try to get a link here in the chat box, should subscribe to the Digital MA Success magazine. It's free. There's no cost. So you should subscribe to the MA Success magazine, because every issue, every month, there are different discounts in there specifically for MA Success subscribers. And again, it's no cost to you, but it's good information, tips, good articles, stories. So make sure you subscribe to that. We'll try to get that in there.
I do think things like,
I'll get the link in a second.
Our Facebook group network, that is kind of a direct line to create a conversation about product and stuff like that too. If people have interest in things that they think that are too expensive or would like to have sales on, or seen something that we've done in the past and want us to do again, that's a great place to start that kind of conversation. And we're all definitely paying attention to that, and can work with you guys on things like that.
Okay. And Chris, I know you have some things, and there's definitely questions here. Do you want to start, or do you want me to answer some of these questions that have popped up here?
Yeah, let's prioritize the live questions that are being asked.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let me see. I was just telling Brian to post the link for MA Success. For anybody that hasn't subscribed, you could click that link and it's free. It's great information, but and discounts and all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Field, dumb question, it says. No question is dumb, sir. Actually, I'm going to be straight with you. There are questions that are dumb, but we have to be, you know, we just got to say to people, there's never a dumb question. This is not dumb, though. How do you deal with someone who doesn't want to pay the down payment, just the monthly payments of your 12-month program? Well, my question to you would be is, when you present this to them, how many options do they have? Is it you can pay in full, or you do this down payment plus monthly? Because if you do that, some people may not want to do the down payment. For us, and all of you guys got this, I think in the first call, I think, our pricing structure is structured in a way to where there's a paid in full option for a program, as we talked about that. We're not going to get into that right now, but a program instead of a membership contract. But then there's 3 different monthly options you can choose from, and it's $399 down, $299 down, or $199 down. Those are the options, right? But if my only option is $199, and I'm not saying yours is, maybe you have all the options, I don't know. But if your only option is $199, somebody may then say, or they may be more apt to say, well, can I just pay a higher monthly rate and not put any money down? I know you hear this from consultants and people. It just doesn't happen in our schools. And we have 9 locations with over 2,200 students. Nobody says, can I not do that? What we can do and have done for somebody who says, for example, oh, that's just a little more than I expected, we say, well, look, do you want to put $99 down today? And then in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll get the other half of your down payment and it'll lock you in at the monthly rate. So we still collect the full down payment within the first month, but we may split it up into 2. That's a rarity. I'm just saying we have done that, but we have not had people say, I don't want to put the down payment down. Those are the options. They have the 3 monthly options, right? The other thing on the psychology of that is, when you go and order from a paid in full price and they see it's $1,800, well, that could sticker shock some people. But then when you say, if you don't want to do that, you can start today for just $399. Or if you want to start for lower than that, you could start today for just $299. Or if you want to go with our least amount down, and that's the presentation, you could do $199 today in 12 payments. Which one would work best for you? Well, now the $199 just seems like a relief compared to where we came from $1,800 paid in full to $399 to $299 to $199. There's a whole process and a system to presentation. And this is what I try to explain to people. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And the small details equal big results. Small details is what makes or breaks a martial arts school. And because there's not a lot of questions, I'm going to give you one more example. But I had a room of about, at the time, this was at Century actually, might be, but this was at Century upstairs. And we had maybe 100 martial artists, maybe it was a little less then, because it was in the old upstairs. This is going back 20 years ago. And everybody was a martial arts school owner. And I asked people, please stand up if you offer martial arts birthday parties. Please stand up. About 80% of the room stood up. Then I said, we'll continue standing if you get a good percentage of new students from doing birthday parties. Well, about 80% of the people that were standing sat down. And I still had 20% of those people still standing. And then I asked, well, what's your average? I asked a few people because there was still quite a bit of people. And then I said, well, why is it that we both teach martial arts? We both offer martial arts birthday parties, but these people get a lot new students from birthday parties and these people don't. We're doing the same thing, but we're not presenting it the same way. And this is what I try to explain to people in the industry. If you want to have fun, go on Century Martial Arts School Network and see the post on there about term agreements or month to month, and you'll see banter, but I just can't get it across. And people don't understand. When you say, I tried that, it didn't work. That would be like me telling my daughter, when she was learning to ride a bike, Dad, I tried riding a bike. The bike doesn't work because I kept falling down. And then me getting the bike and throwing it out and say, well, stick to scooters, honey, because bikes don't work. Bikes do work. You just didn't do it the right way. I mean, and people will fight me. And that's everything. That's your retail. That's getting a down payment. That's providing a service. It's everything we do. So on to the next. This is great. Congratulations. I just had my kick paddle seminar, sold over $300 of paddles. 22 people attended with 10 guests. Question, should I have a product of the month with some kind of seminar, or would that be too often? A product of the month every month, yes. A product of the month with a seminar every month is too often. You can have a product of the month that you create a culture to where your customers start seeing every month. I wonder what the product of the month is going to be. It can be on display. And as an example, everyone in your school will learn that the product of the month is always 20% off, as an example. And it's displayed, and it's that whole month. Anybody that buys it that month, it's 20%. Next month it rotates, and that sale on that specific product is over. However, you do not want to have products of the month of merchandise and equipment that you consistently sell on a regular basis, or you're just cutting into your margins. For example, I wouldn't have a product of the month be uniforms, because you're going to sell uniforms anyway. My product of the month would be kick shields, Wave Masters, stretch machine, like stuff that you normally don't sell. But every month, this is the month. If you guys ever thought about getting blank, this is our product of the month this month. It's super cool. Now, maybe every other month you can add a free seminar to go with that. But I think a seminar every month with the product of the month, that's overkill, in my opinion. I missed last week's video, didn't show up in school. Can you do a small recap? They're all recorded. And I would do a recap, but it was all Q&A. So I really don't remember all the questions that were asked, but definitely watch the recording. And Mr. Field, I see you do have 4 pricing options. That would be you and I jumping on a call. Let me just hear how you're presenting those options and finding out how often you're getting people to say, can I put nothing down and pay a higher down payment? And the reason we don't like to do that, by the way, is we do everything in our power to keep our students as long as possible, but we have data and we have stats. And unfortunately, there's a lifeline, there's a lifespan to your students. And we know that if you sign up a student, everyone on here, if you sign up a student and all we want to do is track a 12-month period, what percent of students last 12 months or longer? Which students last less than 12 months? That's all I want to know. So if you've been with me 10 years, I would check the box that you lasted 12 months or longer. But in a 12-month snapshot, you do not have a 100% retention rate. There is an average lifespan to your students. So most of you on here, your average student in a 12-month span from the time you enroll someone to 12 months is probably 8 to 9 months, okay? To stay in business and to take care of our instructors, right? We need cash flow, which is why we need down payments on programs, because it creates cash flow. Now, if a student leaves or is gone in 9 months, we don't sit there and say, well, they paid in full, so it doesn't matter about them. We already got their money. We do not do that. We're on the phone, we're sending emails, we're sending texts, we're sending postcards, we're setting up free mat chats, private lessons. We're doing everything we can to keep people motivated. Our mission is not to just make as much money as possible. Our mission is to change the lives of the community through martial arts while making a living and making as much money as possible. There's a difference, because I can't stay in business if I'm not profitable, right? So down payments are essential, which is why our minimum down payment is $199. Because I also know a lot of you will say, if you sign up today, we'll give you $100 off. If you sign up today, well, at least you still get $99 down. So, by the way, the belt in a bag for Valentine's was great. About 50 kids picked up the packs and 3 signed up, including down payments of $279 each. No brainer. Congratulations. And by the way, you know, that's a system that doesn't take a lot of effort. And that's what I tried to tell you guys from the beginning. I wanted to give you things that wasn't going to break the bank. And I wanted to give you things that wasn't going to overwhelm you. By having white belts in a bag and handing it to people and letting them know that, you know, if you know anyone that could benefit from martial arts, does not take much energy. And here we go, 3 signups of $279 each, plus the monthly fees coming in. Fantastic. I asked last week, this question wasn't really answered. That's sir, because I avoid hard questions. So let me see if we can answer it today. As far as cleaning mats, specifically the grooves in the mats, how do you folks take care of it other than use a toothbrush? Well, I've never used a toothbrush on my mats. I have on my teeth, but not on my mats, number one. Number two, we have mats that have a Velcro overlay. So I think, again, I think you're talking about tatami mats, where you put them down and then there's the grooves, this, that, and the other. And to be honest with you, we have a professional cleaning service that'll come in sometimes once a quarter to do a deep clean on the mats. Other than that, we broom sweep the mats, and then we mop the mats nightly every day. But I would be lying to you if I say my team and my staff are getting in between the grooves. So I know that when you pick up tatami mats, most of you, after years, it looks pretty nasty under there. But I don't know, Mikey, do you have any idea of the mat, how you get in the grooves?
I did. I put some answers in there. I didn't know if I made it private between me and Mr. Craig, but I'll send some links on here. We sell a kind of a mat cleaning kit for you, as well as the kit that we sell, we use daily here for our mats. But we actually have I use this intense scrubber that you can buy at any Home Depot or Lowe's, costs $14. And it is what we use once a week to do the deep cleaning. Because even like any textured mat that has any kind of grip or what you guys really want as a martial artist, it's going to get that, you know, just dirt that kind of gets in there. And it requires a thick plastic bristle brush to kind of get all that stuff off with the mat solution, and then give it a mop, and it should be good to go.
There you go. Real quick, what's next? Easter belt in a bag. Here's what's next. If the white belt in a bag works for you, you should have them on inventory, and every time someone enrolls, you're handing them 2 white belts in a bags as a gift to give to someone they feel can benefit from martial arts every single time someone enrolls. But you could do that anytime you want to do that. You could do that for Mother's Day and say, give this to a coworker that's a mom. It's good for a free month of our adult martial art. You could do it for Father's Day. You could do it for Easter. You could do it for Hanukkah. You could do it for Christmas. You can do it anytime you want. If something is working, why would you not continue to do it? Right? So anytime you want to do it. Okay, now, Mr. Bamber, pre-grand opening memberships. This is important for everybody, because every one of you once a year, here's a golden nugget for you. Not all of you are opening a new school, right? Or moving a location, but every one of you once a year at minimum, if not twice a year, should do an anniversary open house event, or just a family summer family fun day event for your school. So you could do our 2-year anniversary or 3-year anniversary. Now, depending on where you live and depending on your weather, you would want to do this when it's nice out. But my point is this is an opportunity always to get people. Now, if you see the normal fees here, one thing you don't want to do at these events is do anything on your monthly fee. What you would do is do what we call an enrollment special. And you could do this for grand openings. You could do this for anniversary events that you do. When we do an anniversary event, an open house, a family fun day, the format is exactly the same. It's on a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's 4 hours. That's all it is, 4 hours. We have food. We might have a bounce house for kids. We have classes running every 30 minutes, back to back to back to back. Kids get to break a board if that's your style. They got to get their hand stamped. They can't get on a bounce house. They can't get the free snow cone or cotton candy or hot dog unless they have a stamp on their hand, which means everyone has to go through the 30-minute fun class, break their board, then they get their stamp. but they also get to hear about the specials that day. And typically that day is, you know, normally, for example, normally if you were to enroll, I know a lot of you were asking about enrolling. If you were to come in next week, or if you had come in last week or 2 weeks ago, normally it's $199 down and 12 payments of blank. But today only, it's just $50 for as many family members that want to enroll. That includes uniforms for everyone in the family. That includes your down payment. It also includes your first month. So instead of 12 payments of X, it's just 11 payments of X. That's a standard deal. So once they're on the monthly, they're on the same monthly as everyone else. They just had an enrollment special that day. Now your next question should be, well, how do you do that when you have existing students there and they're hearing it and they didn't get that special? Great question. But here's the answer for that, for anyone that's thinking that. Leading up to any anniversary event or family fun day or grand opening or whatever, if you have current students, you say, hey, listen, we need your help. We want you to bring as many friends or family members to the event because we're going to have demos, giveaways, prizes, whatever. But also because they are friends and family of you all, we will have a special for anybody that may want to enroll that day because they are guests of our students. And then when that's presentation, now the students understand there's going to be a discount. Not only that, but the students are telling their family and friends, listen, if you ever thought about it, they're going to do deals that day. They're going to do enrollment specials, as opposed to saying, I didn't get that deal. So it's all about presentation. And that's what we do for grand openings. The other thing we do on a grand opening is we got to get in the black as soon as possible, meaning we got to try to generate revenue as soon as possible. So the other thing we market for a grand opening is BOGO, buy one, get one free memberships. But it's only on a paid in full 6-month membership. Now, our normal term is 12 months. But if we're doing a grand opening, you can pay in full for 6 months. There is no discount. The discount is 2 people can train for the price of 1 for 6 months. Why 6 months and not 12? Because I can't afford to have all these BOGOs going past 6 months, okay? So to generate some revenue to get through just building up your school, we will market buy one, get one free memberships or programs. You know, we say memberships to the market, right? Because they understand that terminology if they haven't been in a martial arts school. But basically they would pay whatever your monthly is times 6 plus the $199 down, no discount. That's the price. But 2 people can train. So that's what we do also. So you can do the $50 includes all the family members and then the monthly fees, or the BOGO on the paid in fulls. Okay. Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's all of them from the chat. There was one in the school platform that asked, we have always charged for belt promotions, but I know some other schools that include that fee in one of their monthly fee options. What are your thoughts?
I've done both. I used to charge for testings. Then the billing company that I was with, the chairman at the time, 25 years ago, said, don't nickel and dime your people, and just raise your rates and tell everyone that includes all the promotion fees. And with a 2-hour discussion, it made sense sitting across from them, talking to them for 2 hours. So then I got rid of the testing fees, raised my rates. Well, then 2 years into that, I started dreading testings because at the time I could not afford salaried employees. So everybody was hourly then. And anytime I had a testing, I had to go to Office Max, buy certificate paper. I had to have my hourly program director come in early and put the certificate paper in the printer and type out all the certificates. I had to have all my instructors who were hourly work longer because they all had to be there for testing and graduation. I had to order belts from Century and buy the belts. And I would dread the testings because I felt like during a testing month, I would lose a lot of money that month. And I said to myself, I think I can keep my rates where they are, but charge $40 for testings. But the way I went about that was, until to this day, today, when someone comes to enroll in our school, before they sign the dotted line, we say to them, now, Mrs. Johnson, or whoever it is, one of the things we pride ourselves on is being upfront and open with our customers. And before you enroll, I just want to let you know there are some additional costs you will incur during your training. For example, we do different events every month, like a parents' night out sometimes, or we'll have seminars, but there's an extra fee for those. So if you want to attend those are typically $35, $40. Any questions on that? And they're like, no, I understand. The other thing is if you ever need to buy new uniforms, if a uniform gets torn, or if you need gear, you'll know you're going to need safety equipment as you go and progress. There's a cost for that equipment. Okay. Also, when you test for your next rank, there's a $40 fee, but that includes all your tip testing, which we do monthly. That includes your graduation ceremony. It includes your certificate. It includes your belt. If for some reason you don't pass one of those or you don't do that, you don't have to pay, but there is a $40 fee. Do you have any questions on that? No? That's what they say. And I say, okay, just initial here that we did go over all of that. So now you guys can do the math. 2,200 students, okay? Let's just say on average, 75% of them test every quarter or graduate every quarter, right? So that's 1,650 people every 3 months. Times that by 4, times that by 40, that's $264,000 in testing fees. So yes, I think you could charge testing fees as long as you're upfront and honest to your customer before they become your customer. What I don't think you can do is sign people up on a monthly fee and then 3 months in or whenever it is say, hey, by the way, you're going to test, I need $40. Like, if you didn't tell them, I don't think that's right. So we're not only are we upfront, we go over it. I have them initial that they understand it before they even enroll. So you can make the decision based on your own goals and your culture on whether you think that's right to charge people a testing fee. The other analogy I'll give you is go to a college, go to any university in the country, go sign up for chemistry, go sign up for a class. There's a fee for that education. But then they're going to tell you, now you need to go get your books. They don't include the books. You got to go buy the books. Well, I don't get belts for free unless Mikey wants to make an announcement right here, right now, that all belts will be free for martial arts. Mikey?
Calm down, Mets.
I got it.
So my point is I say that as a point because he would go out of business. He doesn't get the belts for free. We don't get the belts for free. So why do the customers get the belts for free? There's a value to that. And there's a value to the education. Here's the other thing I'll tell you. If you want to include it, keep things separate. So put a value to the education. If you think your teaching is worth $20 a month, then charge $20 a month, but charge $20 for your testing to cover certificates and belts. There's a value to everything. Don't package it all up. The only reason we do that is because this industry made a standard in a way, but the customers that have never been in a martial arts school don't know that. And you can do anything you want as long as you're upfront honest with your customer before they become a customer. So go ahead. Chris, what do you want to cover?
So those were all of the questions that were submitted. So anybody else feel but this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately in a book called The Golden Hour. And it's something that Mr. Metzger and I and all the consultants at Maya have, talked about. And it's how is it that, specifically for our elite clients, they all have access to the same information. They have access to the same people. They're all on the same calls, but, some take it and run with it and see this exponential level of growth, and then others don't. And just kind of really thinking like what are the skill sets that those school owners have that are quote unquote crushing it. And I think that two of the most important skill sets, and you can develop these and can get better and stronger, that any business owner, whether you're in the martial arts industry or in a different industry, is you have to have focus and you have to take deliberate action. And when I look at the schools that, join our programs, or even the ones that come on challenges like this and start to see, this enormous success, it's because they have those two things. And we talk about focus so much in our, on the mat and in difficult as a business owner to really be able to lock in and focus on the thing that needs to be done now, especially just in today's world of notifications and constantly just being bombarded because of our smartphones. So when I think about those character traits of having that focus and taking that deliberation, those are the two things that I think can really separate the good school owners from the discipline of just being able to sit down and get to work for a lot of martial arts school owners is difficult. And I told you I read this book called The Golden Hour, and I thought
Chris, you're
it
breaking
was
up a
like
little bit. They
acronyms.
must have time.
Am I okay now?
Is it, Mikey,
We
can
okay
you hear
now?
Chris solid?
Or
Yeah, you're kind of cutting it out, but you're good now.
Okay.
okay. So I'm just going to drop this in the chat. And it's an acronym called the Golden Hour. And this is something that I have done without kind of knowing what this acronym is. And I call it my morning business ritual. But for those of you that are maybe feeling just like overwhelmed with all of it, if you can do this, okay, like go to a quiet place to focus, right? And sometimes that might not mean in your school, that might need to be somewhere else. And open your mind. And I'm really big on journaling, just being able to clear out mental clutter and just writing down all of the things that need to be done. This basic concept of pen to paper and writing things down so you can close the loops in your head is so important. So just opening up a sheet of paper and clearing all that mental clutter of all of the things that you need to do, right? I mean, it's crazy to me. There's some schools that operate and the owner doesn't even have something as simple as a to-do list. Then lead with your marketing actions. Every single day, you've got to ask yourself, is the thing that I am working on right now, is it going to positively affect the bottom line, which is your marketing? And often we put that last on our to-do list and then it never gets done. So can you lead with just a marketing action and then doing the big projects that really grow your business? And everybody's in different areas of their school. So the big project for Mrs. Chapman might be different than the big project for, Mr. Reisner. And then just end after 1 hour. And it's kind of interesting because my morning business ritual takes me just about an hour. And, there's concepts of this that I do, but it's slightly different. And then you plan for the rest of the day. And just having that discipline of being able to sit down every day at your desk and actually focus and take deliberate action. It's not something that a lot of school owners do. And if you're kind of, struggling with feeling overwhelmed or the implementation, potentially implement something like your own golden hour. And for me, this is what starts off my day every single morning. So a lot of school owners kind of struggle with that feeling of overwhelm, and this is a really good place to start. So I just wanted to share that.
Great advice. We had a couple more questions come in. What are you finding to be the best market? Kids, teens, adults? Well, I think it depends. At the end of the day, there are more kids training in martial arts than there are adults, right? But if you want to segregate MMA or BJJ schools, there are more adults training than kids, right? You got to decide what your biggest market is. And then to build your business, you go after it. And then hopefully you can retain kids into teen and adulthood. But that's a whole system in itself too. And it doesn't mean you don't take adults, but everybody has, some schools are 50-50, but still, if you look at data, Mikey, are you seeing the majority of uniforms and stuff are still kids, right? That are being sold?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's mostly children still, kids training in martial arts. What's the standard, Mikey? I'm going to throw this to you. I don't know if you know this, is if there is one to retail markups on uniforms, gear, weapons, etc.
I mean, what Century tries to honor an MSRP and not exceed that so that people are not trying to go around ground the school owners to buy from us. I think that the standard is between the wholesale and the resale is around 25% to 30.
Okay, there it is.
The appropriate one, and the reason is too that you have to allow some room that if you do have a special or you do have a reason that you want to promote something that you can take a 5%, a 10% discount and still make enough margin to make it worth your while.
That's a good point. And you guys got to understand that if you're selling something, you got to take into account that you typically, unless you're passing it on, you're paying for the shipping too. So you got to make sure that you take all that into account when you're selling something to a customer. So just watch your margins. I mean, definitely keep an eye on that. You don't want to be, breaking even on stuff because it takes time and effort for orders and collecting and inventory to sell. So make sure you have the appropriate profit margins. And I think it definitely varies on what you're selling.
And shipping is a growing issue. I mean, that's a big topic at Century. I know all our customers are that's a big discussion within it. And it's something that we get, we're transparent about. We get hit with increases all the time. FedEx just came back with this one. It seems to be good. They're not getting any cheaper anytime soon, although we're implementing mailers and stuff. And so there's two ways to go about trying to maximize your guys' shipping and considering whenever you put that in your margin, it's to buy a lot at once so that your shipping goes further if you're paying for a big box. And then if you are in the bucket of trying to do smaller orders, our customer service team in particular can help you guys navigate this, but we're trying to kind of get to a point where anything 2 to 3 uniforms, putting those inside of mailers, in which USPS and FedEx, they also treat that considerably different, and the cost goes down dramatically. And trying to make that available for all of our customers to ward it off, because shipping is just getting unreasonable for everybody.
There you go. Does anyone else have any other questions? When I get passionate on these subjects, you got to understand for 20, I keep forgetting we're into 25 now. So it's maybe 23 years. I've been seeing school owners struggle. I've been seeing school owners shut down, and I've seen school owners flourish, right? And when you work one-on-one with people, as opposed to a group format like this, I don't get the pleasure of hearing what it is each one of you are doing that really works. But for 23 years, that's what we've been doing, one-on-one consulting. And when you hear different things that work and you do this, you really, people, when there's a post out there or like whatever, people think it's Metzger's system. Like Metzger has all the answers, when they don't realize that Metzger is just a funnel. The industry has all the answers. The problem is the industry doesn't all funnel under one place unless you want to, have heart palpitations and chest pain and do it for 23 years, talking to hundreds of people one-on-one. Then you kind of hear what works for everybody everywhere. And it's frustrating for me. I mean, my wife says I'm getting to be a crotchety old man now, right? And I said, sweetheart, my patience, I agree. My patience is just thinner now, because when you know that this team, Century, GrowPro, Maya, right? I'm not saying no other people can help, but we know we can help. We know we can. And it's frustrating when I see school owners stuck in their belief systems, blame the economy, blame your location, blame your culture, but at the end of the day, still struggle. Or maybe you're not struggling. Has anybody ever heard the saying, good is the enemy of great? Has anybody ever heard that before? Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Good is the enemy of great. Why? Because when you're good, you're comfortable. and you'll never be great because you don't want to make the changes out of fear that you're going to lose the good. So you get stifled. The people that make the biggest strides are the ones who call and say, I got about 3 more months before I'm going to have to shut my doors. I'm at my wit's end. I'll do anything. Those are the people that like will skyrocket because they're desperate. But when you're good, what people don't do a lot is think about tomorrow. They only think about today. And they realize today I'm good. Until you wake up and you realize, man, I've been good for 15 years. I've been good for 20 years, but I'm getting tired. I want to be able to have a little work-life balance, but I can't. Because if I remove myself or pull myself out a little bit, things will start to falter. Now, what do? Right? So it's frustrating. It's not about I know everything. It's you all as a group know everything. And I just happen to be the one to take it all in and listen and implement and learn, right? And then try to pass it on. And so if you want to be great, and not everybody wants to be great. Most people are okay being good. Most people. But I'd like to argue that and say because most people haven't tasted great. And when you taste great, when you taste that, you don't want to lose that, just like you don't want to lose the good. Most of you were probably happy at some point when you had 20 students. You were motivated, you were hungry, you were happy, you were motivated. But then you got to 120 students and you still want to grow, but you're not as hungry and as motivated because I'm paying my bills, I'm making a good living, it's good. It's all good, right? And that's why good is the enemy of great. And Steve Harvey, if you ever heard him say it, he used to say, well, he didn't used to say, he told this story about how when he used to go to comedy shows, he'd get on an airplane, he'd walk to coach, he'd walk past first class and sit down and he wouldn't even think about it. But one day he got on the plane and the flight attendant said, sir, we have a spot. If you want to be moved up to first class, we can move you up. He's like, of course, yeah. He went up there, he said, the hot towel, the service, the meals, the seat was so much comfort. He goes, he never got on a plane again, walking by first class and not thinking about it. Every time he got on the plane, he just thought, I got to figure out how I can get back up here. I need to, because he got a taste of it. But everybody else in coach, they're comfortable, they're fine there. And that's okay. We, Maya, Elite, and me, I am not here to try to help people be good. My mission and passion with all of us is to try to make people not even great. It's to try to make you the best that you possibly can be. And so with that, in the beginning, comes a little pressure, comes a little bit of overwhelmingness. But that is where my frustration and the passion comes across because I've been doing this so long and it's like, we know how much we can help you guys. We don't want to see anybody struggle. And then the last thing is it's not what you know that gets you to success or holds you in place. It's what you don't know. So anytime, I'll be honest, no, I won't even tell you this, but the thing is when I see stuff on Facebook with this industry and everybody's talking about everything that they know, everything they experience, what they don't understand is on the other side of that, I'm reading things and I'm thinking, it's what you don't know that has held you back. It's what you don't know. And so it's frustrating for me. Like I said, go on the Century thing, you'll see somebody, they have a lot of time on their hands. I couldn't even read all the comment, but I tried to, get through, but they're saying, oh, you know all the answers. You know all the answers. A lot of experience. There is nothing that that anybody has gone through that I haven't heard. And it's not because I was born knowing it. It's because I've talked to everybody one-on-one for 23 years now, all over the world. So, and when people execute, I said it. And I even told this gentleman on Century, just so you know, I told him, I said, sir, do this. He goes, oh, you don't want to ask questions in a public format. You want to, not just, I said, sir, call me. And then when we talk, you could share it with everybody on what we talked about, on whether or not I know the answers. I'll ask him questions in private. and I'll show him that I knew the answers. And then he can post whatever he wants based on the conversation, but he's yet to call me. But it's easy to just type, and say whatever you think you know. So it is frustrating, and I love this industry. This industry has given us everything, all of us, Chris, Mikey, myself, it's given us everything. This martial arts has given us everything we have, and that is the reason why we are still sitting here, trying to help this industry when we don't need to be doing these webinars, right? I mean, we have a lot on our plate, but this is our passion. We want to see you all succeed. We want to see you do better than you ever dreamed that you can do. And not just for you, but for any of your students that become black belts that want a career because you changed their life and they want to do it. And most of you, and I said this on the post, if 3 people come into your school today that are your students and said, sir, ma'am, you changed my life. We decided we want to make this a career and come on full time with you. Can you hire them? And most of you can't. You can't hire 3 full-time people if they came in today. So you would have to say, like the gentleman said on the post, why would I hire these people? Well, first he said, why would I hire 2 people? When I was talking about 3, but he's like, why would I hire 2 people if I don't need them? And well, you do need them if you want to be great, because that's how you scale a business. So when you have good people that have been your students that are saying, I want to be part of this journey with you, we'd hire them today. 10 people can come in and we would hire 10 people today, right? Because I'll open up more units. The reason we have 9 locations is not because I set out and said, I want 9 schools. It's because I had to create career paths for all the people that wanted to come on board on our team. And of course, I can't afford to do that if I just stuck with 1 location. Can't afford it. But I'm ready to scale, right? So there's a lot of perspective in business. So I just wanted to give you another perspective, as this was our last call until we do another webinar that we'll plan and do something to try to help you. But if you guys ever want to get in touch with me, I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one. And if you want to come to the March event, we have our March All Systems Go event in Orlando. You guys know the links have been put up, and Century, will reimburse you the cost of your ticket, right? So we're trying to do everything that we can to try to help you guys maximize your success. Any other final thoughts from Chris or Mr. Dillard?
No, but I am interested. How many people, do you guys know how many people have taken us up on that?
My team does. I don't know exactly. I know that there's, you want the answer? Do you want me to walk over there?
Just wondering, we talk about it a lot, and I certainly am always interested, because it is a genuine, it's an investment that I'm trying to make in the customer group. And so I think that last time we had one customer that came up to us after the fact at another tournament and asked me if they could get that, but it was for something else. And so I just wasn't aware if anybody had actually taken it up.
How many people registered that's getting the Century credit?
17.
17?
Okay. That's
17?
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I commend everybody that did that. I'm excited.
Incredible. I didn't know it was about 17.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll go out of our way to make sure we introduce ourselves and talk through that with everybody, and that did take advantage of it, and that they,
I can't wait to
truly
meet.
believe. I hope it's an opportunity to.
I can't wait to meet everybody. So that's great. So there you go. So 17 people already registered that has not ever been to an elite event that is going to be getting that Century credit. So March 28th, Chris, March 28th, 29th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else, Chris?
All I've got.
I think that's it. We'll get the recording uploaded into the platform for you guys, and we look forward to the next session.
Thank you guys.
We'll keep you posted in the school platform.
Yeah, hope we everyone found this useful, and that you guys' seminars went well, and we'll continue to do this stuff as long as everyone asks.
Thank you guys very, very much for sticking it out for all the weeks, and good luck with everything. And if you need anything, we are here for you. Talk to everybody soon. Hope to see you next month. Take care.